Hey, how you doing? This is the second video on my quest for spiritual enlightenment. Now, when I was in high school, when I was starting the quest for my spiritual journey, if you will, I had certain criteria which, if I were to realize God or to discover Him or to know Him, I came up with some scientific reasoning or scientific precepts which would make conditions. If this person met all this criteria in science, then I could actually say or believe that this person was God. So I came up with several of them. The first one is that he would have to have quantum memory. The second, he'd have to be the quantum possessor of all beings. 3, he'd have quantum existence. 4, he would have to be the sum total of quantum cognizance. And he would have to have the 5, the quantum creation and destruction abilities. 6, just like in the Big Bang, he would have to be the quantum source. And then he would have to prove this, at least to one human being, by exhibiting some fantastic event or some kind of form which would exhibit and prove all these things. So I began my source references and books that I had come across, and one particularly brought my attention. That was the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So I started my questions one by one, or my criteria for who is God, or if God met this criteria in this book, then I would have some substance there. So the first one was quantum memory. So I checked through the Bhagavad Gita and looked around and found a good verse, which Arjuna was the warrior, and he questioned Krishna, who in this case was the Supreme Lord, according to the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna said to Krishna, or the Supreme Lord, the sun god Vivishwan is my senior birth to you. Now how am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? The Blessed Lord said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. So straight away, right here, he fits that criteria. He has quantum memory, because no ordinary person could remember what he did yesterday. What to speak of this life in all the previous lives, if you believe in reincarnation we ever had, he could remember them. So in this case, Krishna checks off on this this criteria as the quantum memory source. Okay, then I thought for the next criteria, he would have to actually possess or control all living beings. So I checked on the same book, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I found another verse, or found a verse which would confirm this also. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita here, and when you have thus learned the truth, you know that all living beings are in me, and they are but part of me, and they are mine. So this way, it met that criteria. If there's an existence of God, he would have to be the possessor of all living entities, or all living things, and all non-living things. So Krishna meets that criteria in this verse. And then he would have to be the sum total of this criteria. He would have to be the sum total of all existence, or he would have to be he would have to reach his scope in all existence. So I looked again in the Bhagavad Gita and I found another verse. And where Lord Krishna says, of all that is spiritual and all that is material, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. A conqueror of wealth. There is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung upon a thread. Now this is an incredible statement, because no person that comes forward, no ordinary person could say everything is resting on him, because if he said something like that, he'd be a crazy man. So this statement here alone gives great weight on the fact that Krishna could be that supreme person, or the quantum being who I was looking for. The next criteria would be the quantum cognizance, or knower of everything. We'd have to have, in my opinion, if there were a God, he would have to know everything that's happening all the time, everywhere. So in the Bhagavad Gita, again, I found another verse which supported this criteria, where Krishna spoke to Arjuna, and he said, O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, all things that are yet to come, and I also know all living entities. So right here, we may know something which is going on in the room I'm in. I may know that my camera is working and my monitor is on. But what do I know is going on in the room next door, or the house next door, or what you're doing wherever you are? I don't know that. But as a criteria of the Supreme, Krishna meets it clearly here, that he is the knower of everything, past, present, and future. This is a quality that can only be exhibited to someone who is the supreme quantum being or God. And then if God would come forward, or if another criteria for God would, that he would have to be the supreme creator and destroyer. That was one of the things I surmised that God would have to be. So I checked in the Bhagavad Gita again. The whole cosmic, when Krishna says this statement, he says, the whole cosmic order is under me. By my will it is manifested again and again, and by my will it is annihilated at the end. So clearly here, Krishna is giving a statement which he says that the whole cosmic order is under him, and it's created and destroyed again and again. So this is another criteria which God had to have met to actually qualify himself as God, and certainly Krishna does by this statement.
Mm-hmm.